welcome back, everyone, to the Awful Takes Podcast, episode 57. My name is Nabahi. I'm one of the hosts.
Sorry. Hello, I'm Wallied from Sergata Productions.
This is the show where we talk about movies, music. We do reviews, recommendations between us both. And on our episodic shows, we start out with movie news and things that we find interesting that we would like to talk about and kind of speculate and discuss on. So if you're joining us for the first time, we have time descriptions, timestamps in the bottom. So if you want to skip ahead to the review, if that's what you're here for, please, by all means, go ahead. If not, we'll be jumping right into the news. Quick forward. I apologize in the delay in reviews and things and episodes. Holiday times are always very busy for me, so I kind of run into a lot of last minute, engagements and things, and that stuff sometimes takes priority over my life. So we're gonna see how many holiday recommendations we can get through. Kind of in the same situation last year. I know I said that I didn't want to be like that, but unfortunately, that's the way life kind of pans out sometimes. So we'll see what we can do. But thank you for joining us, most of all, especially if you're new here. We appreciate the support so much. All right, we're going to start out a bit with something somber that happened recently. Rob Reiner and his wife tragically passed away. I'm going to stay off of the whole topic of everything that, how it transpired and everything. Obviously, just want to pay respects to kind of a director for me that has quite a pantheon of films.
Yeah, he has quite the variety, and there's definitely a lot more of his movies I definitely need to check out.
Yeah.
And I was kind of shocked these were from the same filmmaker, too.
Same. It was one of those moments where, like, you look up a person's filmography, and you just have those moments of, like, oh, wait, he directed that? Oh, wait, that was his movie? And it was just kind of like this mind-blowing moment for me of, like, this guy, I actually probably was a really big fan of his, and I just never put two and two together that, oh, that was this person, and it's very unfortunate that obviously now I have kind of this recollection of him and, he's gone. He's not here anymore. One of the movies that I just love to the absolute highest degree is Misery. I was so close to putting Misery in the horror Halloween thing that we do, and unfortunately it just didn't quite make it there. But Misery has one of my favorite movie performances of all time with Kathy Bates in there, and she won an Academy Award for that movie. And it's such an amazing film. It's definitely, and I would say probably my top 10 horror movies of all time. That's just one of my favorites. And I remember I watched it earlier this year and I was like, man, I really got to recommend this movie for this. So then I had a recollecting moment of like, oh wait, this guy directed A Few Good Men. Oh wait, this guy directed Stand By Me. All these movies that are so big and they have just such a stamp on movie history that really is just mind-blowing.
For me, I've known about Rob Reiner for a while through some of the movies I've seen. Like Flipped was my introduction to him, which I really enjoyed, and was more of kind of like a coming-of-age kind of love story that I was really surprised how much it kind of connected with me. And then later on, kind of seeing The Princess Bride for the first time a couple of years ago, it just really blew me away, and I was kind of shocked I had never seen it before, but I had rewatched it a couple weeks ago and everything, and it just, man, the action is incredible. It's literally like one of the most quotable films I think I've ever seen, honestly. And not only that, but I just love the unconventional romance of the film, and I love how, like, with that movie, it like goes back and forth between like the story you're watching and then the story that the grandpa is telling to his grandson. It's just like such a great way to tell the story. And then of course the one that I also really love too is When Harry Met Sally. I think is such a great, incredible rom-com of a movie. The chemistry like between Billy Crystal and like Meg Ryan is just like so good in that movie. And it's like I can't even imagine anybody else being in those roles other than them for me.
And especially nowadays, and mostly this year, with all these Stephen King adaptations coming out, and people are arguing, oh, is this the best one? Is it this? And it's just like Rob Reiner tackled 2 of those, you know, with Misery and Stand By Me, and it's just like, dude, that guy was able to do that years ago, and he did it so well.
And that was in like the 80s too. Yeah.
So it's just like one of those things where his movies still hold resonance today. They're still talked about to this day. And yeah, they have just such a, you know, defining moment in movie history. Like, for instance, Stand By Me, like I mentioned in one of my reviews, I think it was Dee talking about how you do like a coming of age story that's just focused solely on the kids. You know, there's no parents, you know, no perspective, and it's stuck mainly with this group of kids who are together, you know. And I can imagine as a director that would be very challenging, you know, yet this guy was able to tackle it and make it, you know, one of the most memorable movies. I watched it again recently last year. And I remember just, you know, just being so enthralled by the movie, and just so like my attention was just forever with that story, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is very unfortunate, but man, this guy had such a great career. He had such a great pantheon of films that now here we are. It's for me just a great moment to kind of be able to, you know, go back and watch some of these movies and really, you know, see one of the directors I would say who kind of just falls, you know, a little short, a little under the radar of some of these other big names. And I'm like, what we talk about a lot on this show is directors who
have their style, their trademarks. You know? And he's definitely more in that like kind of journeyman kind of filmmaking of like, he just makes anything.
Yeah. He really just had no boundaries around him. Like having a movie with kids, having a horror movie, having a military kind of espionage film,
having a rom-com and fantasy film, you know,
crazy.
And then like a mockumentary film about like metal, you know, it's crazy.
It's amazing. So yeah, it's very unfortunate. Obviously, rest in peace to him and his wife.
Absolutely.
And I would love to talk about one of his movies here soon. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. We're going to pivot to a new movie that is arriving next year that me and Wallied have been speculating about. Steven Spielberg is directing a new movie, and it was kind of cool. For the past couple weeks, there was this kind of secretive marketing thing, you know, going on. Like posters were being put up around the world, and they had like this kind of secrecy to it, you know?
Yeah.
And, these posters were actually really cool for me. Like it was like this eyeball with like this silhouette around it of like a bird, and it said like all will be disclosed, and it said like Steven Spielberg film or whatever. And I was just like, that's cool. Like,
I know. I haven't seen a marketing like that done in a while.
Yeah. So I was anticipating. I was like, all right, well, we've been hearing it's this kind of alien story that, you know, Steven Spielberg is kind of returning back to aliens after a long time. Yeah. And this trailer gets posted online about his new movie, and it's called Disclosure Day. And it's a short teaser of the movie. It's not like a full in-depth story or anything. Yeah. You really just get a taste of what you're going to be seeing. And I will say, like, in it, there's a lot of cool things. Like, I felt like I was seeing some stuff that kind of reminded me of, like, Signs, Close Encounters, you know. I will say, like, I don't know what I was expecting with the kind of secretive marketing. But I will say, when the trailer dropped, yes, I am anticipating this movie. Is it going to be one of my most anticipated movies? Maybe not. I felt like the look of it was maybe a bit too standard for me. Maybe that's just me being biased, and maybe that's me just kind of wanting something that looks totally different than anything I've seen, you know. But it is Spielberg. It is UFOs. It's aliens. So obviously that for me, those are two things that go really well together. So
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the trailer, Wallied?
I thought it looked fantastic, honestly. I really appreciate it. They don't give too much away, but yet they still have you excited and kind of terrified at the same time. I love some of the mix of like sci-fi and horror elements they kind of tease a little bit of in the trailer. The cast too was also really surprising also. Like seeing Emily Blunt as the main lead is going to be exciting. Coleman Domingo pops up in the trailer, I think, in one of the shots, and I was like, that's really awesome. Heck yeah. But yeah, honestly, for me, I think after seeing this teaser and honestly just really loving the look, I think this has definitely become probably one of, if not my most anticipated film of next year, honestly. Yeah.
Wow. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check out this trailer. Let us know what you think. I mean, it really is kind of a cool thing to be anticipating, like just kind of like a blockbuster alien film, you know?
Blockbusters are back, baby.
And that's something that Steven Spielberg just does so well.
He does.
I'm ready to kind of get involved with this story and with this narrative that he has. And I love the title, Disclosure Day.
That is a great title.
Like a great title.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see how he blends the sci-fi and horror, you know, because especially like I mentioned in the Jaws discussion, it's like I've wanted to see him go back and do like horror at some point.
Yeah, that would be, honestly, that is a really good point, actually. We're, half a year away from this movie. So
yeah, can't wait.
We'll see what else they have to offer. All right. A movie came out this year that just took the world by storm.
It really did. It's kind of insane.
And it just, it kind of shows the world we're in now of streaming being something that can provide a cultural moment, you know? It's no longer just the theaters now. We can all share as a collective from our homes, turning on Netflix, turning on HBO, and all being a part of this while also being separated.
We're going to be golden.
KPop Demon Hunters has a sequel set for 2029. Obviously, it's no shock. I mean, KPop Demon Hunters is probably one of the biggest movies of the year. I'm pretty sure the soundtrack is probably still on the top songs of billboards, you know. Me in my job where I work with youth and everything, so I have been hearing about this movie nonstop. I've watched it. I actually kind of enjoyed it compared to a lot of people I know. So
nice.
I guess I am interested to see a sequel. I'm interested. I really like the look of the world. I really like the look of the animation. Some of the humor was really funny in the movie too. And obviously the songs are just very well written and everything. One of the things that I am very curious about is this going to be a theatrical release? Are they going to
I hope so.
Kind of take advantage of that? Because I guess, you know, they've been doing these kind of, Netflix has been doing these kind of theater releases with
very
this
sporadically
movie. Randomly on like a weekend they'll do like a sing-along version or whatever, and apparently these things like sell out, so that's kind of crazy. So I think Netflix, you really just want to take that jump. Maybe now you own Warner Brothers. There you go. Let them do what they do. Hand them the movie, and because well, that's kind of the argument I hear a lot is, would this movie have been as big if it was released in the theaters?
I feel like it probably would have been. I mean, it kind of would have had the same like Spider-Verse type of thing, especially because it is Sony Animation, you know? Yeah. And especially because K-pop is such a big thing, you know, especially with kids and teens. I'm like, you literally have the audience, a demographic for it.
That's very true. And definitely in this movie, it has a lot of anime elements, you know, it has a lot of kind of tropiness and stuff, which I think it works to the movie's benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the fact that the sequel now is close to 3 years away, that seems a little long, but I mean, hopefully the product and stuff ends up pretty good, and maybe they might do like make 2 movies at the same time. You know, I think that would be beneficial for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, we're not even in awards season yet, so this movie could end up winning a few awards, I guarantee.
Yeah. Hopefully best animated feature, honestly.
Honestly, we'll have to wait and see. I am excited. I'll definitely check this out when it comes out.
Yeah, same here. So, I mean, K-pop Demon Hunters for me is easily like one of my favorite films of the year. It's just everything everything I love about animation. It's everything I love about K-pop, and it really brought out the inner K-pop fan in me watching it.
Nice.
And not only that, but I just like what really surprised me with that movie was just the story of, you know, fighting interpersonal demons while also fighting, you know, demons at the same time was such a great juxtaposition that I was really just taken aback by with the film.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of my things with this movie where I was like, you can expand a lot of this stuff in a sequel, especially the stuff with like the Huntress and like, you know, the demons and this kind of world and how the kind of K-pop stuff works, you know.
That is something that I think is understated in movies is, you know, we see the successes. We see when it works well, but a lot of the times we don't see when it doesn't work well of building a world and making it coherent, convincing, you know, like
absolutely.
That's not an easy thing to do. And the fact that this movie does it so well, especially in animation, and feels expansive. And like you said, it feels like, oh, I could see more from this world. I could see more from these stories, you know, like that is such a great thing. And it's not the easiest thing to do, you know?
No, it's definitely not.
We can't take it for granted.
Yeah, no, we definitely cannot.
Yeah. All right. Next bit of movie news. Wallied texted this to me the other day, and I've been hearing things on and off about this, but I haven't really found out exactly what this is and what's going on. But I guess Scarlett Johansson is going to be in a new Exorcist movie.
Yeah,
this is something that we talked about the Exorcist and everything. This is piquing my interest. There's someone attached to this movie, right? Is
Mike Flanagan.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess they're kind of doing another reboot again after the Exorcist Believer with David Gordon Green.
Okay, so now it's making sense. Yeah. So yeah, I've been hearing about this story. Mike Flanagan is directing and writing, or just writing.
I believe he's directing it. Okay. Yeah.
Apparently this was an idea that he couldn't put down. Apparently this was an idea that he's been very adamant about making. So I'm very interested. Obviously Mike Flanagan's a big name now, especially in the whole horror film side.
I haven't seen too much of his stuff, though. I'll be kind of completely honest. Yeah. I've only really seen his one adaptation he did of Dr. Sleep, and I thought it was all right.
Yeah, that's right.
But I definitely would like to kind of see what he does with The Exorcist and everything. And I definitely need to check out more of his stuff to get more of an idea of like his style and everything.
I am very intrigued by this. Obviously, with Scarlett Johansson, you know, getting attached to this movie, it's really kind of exciting me that maybe this could be one of the better Exorcist movies to come out.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's really only that first one, and I guess people mentioned the third one.
Yeah, which I gotta check out.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. But this would be kind of cool to kind of get modern audiences and things kind of back into a franchise. At least I would hope that this would serve as maybe an entry point to the franchise for some, you know, younger viewers.
Yeah, absolutely.
People who haven't really taken that leap yet, you know, to watch
the original.
Because I was one of those people. So, like I said, anytime I see a modern adaptation or something, I enjoy it because if anything, it gets younger people invested in this franchise, you know, and maybe they'll go back and their interest will be piqued to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I do want to watch that first one. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mike Flanagan, big name. I'm excited. I have no idea when a release date's happening. There's no real work on like anything like that. I don't even think this thing's even near production.
Yeah, I'd love to see first looks, definitely.
Yeah, but hopefully this is something they can churn out pretty fast, just considering it is a horror movie. I don't think it would take too long.
Yeah, no, that stuff's pretty simple to make a lot of the time. Well, not simple, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
I'm really hoping we see a release here within, you know, a year or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, I'll be watching this when it comes out. Hopefully it gets good reviews.
Yeah, I'll definitely make time for it for sure.
Definitely. All right, last bit of movie news. Early yesterday morning, I'm just waking up. I'm literally just sitting in my bed and I'm reading. And on my phone, I'm scrolling and a piece of movie news dropped that for me is pretty big. James Gunn just confirms that he has casted his villain in his new movie, and it is Braniac, and he's going to be played by a guy named Lars Eidinger.
It's like a German name.
Yeah. Relatively, I guess, kind of unknown, not unknown actor, but an unknown kind of new face in movies now, you know?
At least more in America where we live. Yeah.
And I will say that's something that I think James Gunn has a talent in, is finding those kind of lower end names, you know, who maybe didn't get, you know, too much to their name yet, and does such a good job of making them the big name, you know?
Absolutely.
And especially with characters that aren't in the main, you know, pop cultural consensus yet, you know, is he does that really, really well. He'll cast the big names for those unknown characters and then unknown people for the big characters, you know?
Yeah.
So, man, that is exciting. Obviously, he's confirmed Braniac's in the movie, which for me, I was a little hesitant on, but
yeah, I remember you mentioning that and everything, and I was like, I think it'd work better in like a Justice League movie or something like that. But I honestly, with them confirming it's Braniac, I'd love to kind of see what kind of spin they do on this character.
Easily, this elevates the movie for me to being just something that I'm super anticipating. I love Braniac. He's one of my favorite villains.
Yeah, absolutely.
My whole exposure with him is from Superman the Animated Series. So nice. I'm kind of curious to see what adaptation they're going to go with. But man, this guy, I watched some of scenes of a show and things he was in, and he, not going to lie, it's kind of sounds like a perfect fit for Braniac. But yeah, that was really crazy. Just please, James Gunn, don't one-off Braniac in this movie, please. That's just something I like Braniac so much as a villain, and I wouldn't want to see him just a one and done, and then that's it, you know. But yeah, obviously I'm super happy for this actor. I mean, this is probably going to be a big kind of movie for him.
Yeah, it's going to be his biggest break, honestly.
Yeah, and to kind of stand opposite of this new Superman and this new Lex Luthor is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I honestly just want to see what that team up's going to look like, you know, especially seeing Superman and rewatching it like earlier this year. I was just like, I would love to know how that's going to work, that back and forth relationship, you know.
I really want to see the dynamics between these guys, and obviously their chemistry of all three of these guys. Man, that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, this is super exciting for me as a fan. First time adaptations. It's so cool to live through these and seeing them happen in real time, of loving a character so much that you kind of get to see the moment that they're portrayed for the general audiences. You know, for me, that's always a cool thing. Get excited about a character that you've known for so long. And it's like, yes, this is a moment that, you know, you just wait for, you know, and that's something that I love now with all these modern comic book adaptations.
Yeah, and it's like now they're getting like a reintroduction of this character, especially for fans who have known them like you for like the longest time too.
Exactly. So we'll wait and see. All right.
What do we got?
I made a movie recommendation. I don't know how much we can add to the conversation of this movie, but man, this movie really is just one of my favorite holiday movies. And it's a great premise too. That's something that I love so much with those older kind of Christmas movies, is they sometimes have just a really good premise on paper.
And it's just such a simple premise too, and they just take full advantage of it.
Exactly. Today we're talking about Home Alone. This movie came out in the early 90s.
Yeah. And, oh my God.
Oh my. Over 30 years. And it's a movie about a young boy who gets left while his family goes on vacation.
Yeah, he's literally home alone.
Yeah, and he's by himself. And coincidentally, before his family leaves on vacation, they get into a fight, an argument, you know? And it's one of those moments where you get into a fight with your family when you're younger and you're like, I wish they weren't around. You know, I wish I didn't have to deal with them.
That hit a little too close to home for me personally.
And honestly, they do that side really well in the movie.
Yeah.
But he gets into this argument and everything. So him waking up, being kind of forgotten about on this trip, for him is a moment of like, wow, this is cool, you know? So he gets to be at home, do whatever he wants. But he has a run-in with two burglars who are trying to break into the house
Marvin
and
Harry.
steal things. Yeah, Marvin Harry. And is he gonna defend his house? Is he gonna get kidnapped? You know, things like that. Very interesting premise. So yeah, this movie, like I said, it was kind of a defining childhood movie for me. And again, Kevin McAllister for me is just like one of the coolest movie characters. As a young kid, it's like, yeah, I had him, I had Marty McFly, you know, just cool characters that you just are like, wow, these guys are so awesome. And you just want to be like them, you know? And yeah, this movie has great humor, great slapstick humor. It has a bit of a, you know, Christmas emotional side too, kind of a heart of the movie.
Absolutely.
And it goes for things that you're just really not expecting. And this is one of those moments where, if you haven't heard the name John Hughes, this is one of his great movies, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know that going into this movie, actually. And it's so funny because I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the first time a month ago. And it's just like, I see a lot of the John Hughes stylings in this movie.
And again, like for me, John Hughes is one of those guys that you can just pinpoint his style. And one of the things that's so great about him is he balances humor and drama so well, and he's able to combine them in such a great way. Maybe a little lesser so in this movie. I would say there's not too much drama, but it kind of does tie into some of the great elements, obviously, around Christmas too, is being with your family, you know. And I know that's something we mentioned when we talk about the holdovers, is being with your family around Christmas time is just one of those things that's like, man, when you're not there and you miss it, it's not fun, you know?
No, it's really sad.
Yeah. And this movie at some points will go for that. And I would say it does a pretty good job of handling that. But obviously for me, the standout is just the situation, you know, the house burglary, Kevin defending his house and everything. And then just not even to mention this kid being on his own, the stuff that he gets into, you know, is just so funny.
Yeah.
And it just ties into so many elements that, like, as a kid, it's just like, wow, this is so relatable, you know? Like, I love one of the moments he goes into like the furnace and he thinks it's like this monster or something. And I, like, as a young kid, it's like going into like a dark hallway or a room or something, your mind just plays tricks on you.
Yeah, it's kind of horror. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. It's just like a little moment, you know. But Wallied, you have not seen Home Alone, so
I have
tell
not,
me, what was it like watching this for the first time, you know? And then obviously now you kind of put a name with John Hughes and everything. Did that kind of help you to, oh, okay, this is that director, you know, kind of like that light bulb moment in your head, you know?
Yeah, so for me, seeing this for the first time, I'm kind of like the couple of recommendations we've done the past couple of months. This is a film that I've heard a lot about. I had seen clips and pieces from, but I just never like got around to watching like the whole movie in its entirety. So watching this for the first time was such an absolute delight from start to finish. There was just so many moments of where it really kind of felt like a very relatable thing of like being home by yourself, and that was something that shocked me so much, was like in that first 20 minutes was Kevin just being like in the chaos of everything going on. It's like I completely understand that feeling of like, you don't feel like you're seen with your family. You don't feel like your opinion matters sometimes, or you don't feel like you're part of the family, you know. And it's such a feeling for me that I felt really hard, and it hit really hard for me in that beginning. And not only that, but just there's so many hilarious moments throughout that I was just really taken aback by. I mean, even seeing like Joe Pesci in this movie, because I've seen him in like, you know, the gangster movies that my dad shows me, you know, like Goodfellas and The Irishman and Casino. And so it was kind of really funny to see him in this movie as like, oh, this is like a kid's version of like what he usually does. It sounds so silly to say, but yeah, I loved that aspect, and it really just drives a lot of the humor. And I was surprised how far they took a lot of like the whole them trying to rob the house and everything. And then everything with the mom, I just think was just fantastic. Like you mentioned, kind of with the argument scene, it's just like, God, it is so hard hitting, you know. It's like you say things that you don't mean, and it's like you end up kind of like regretting it later on. It's like, oh, all of it kind of hits you at the same time when they're not there.
Yeah.
And then knowing it was kind of like John Hughes writing and producing it, it was like, I kind of noticed a lot of that similarities, like with John Candy, it's great as always. I love John Candy so much, but definitely think it leans more into the more heartwarming side of John Hughes that I really love from him.
There's a beginning part of this movie that I feel like it just captures things so well, is just like this family chaos,
Yeah.
That's something that I think is kind of understated with this movie, is just like, it feels authentic,
Yeah.
Watching the beginning.
I felt the stress, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I really just felt like the anxiety of like all these people just running around. And especially when they start like eating like dinner and everything, and they bring the pizzas,
No
and
one paid the pizza guy.
Yeah, no one paid the pizza guy. And I love that running gag too with the pizza guy. It's hilarious.
Or you have this cop like just waiting in the, well, obviously it's Joe Pesci.
It's Joe Pesci, yeah.
He's just like
which
waiting.
Is such a funny character introduction.
Yeah, and he just sees the way these family interacts, and they all feel genuine. Like small little part in the movie is just the uncle, and he's like this guy who kind of mooches off of his brother and everything.
He's all, it's his house, and pay for it.
It's so funny. Like, he has just like small moments throughout the film that, I don't know, it just feels authentic.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I love
crazy.
the line, like they're on the plane, he's with his wife and he's like, here, put this in your purse. He's like trying to steal something.
Everything with that uncle is hilarious. I love the line he tells Kevin, he's all, why do you have to be such a jerk?
It's so funny. And like, I don't know, there's just an authenticity to this family and stuff. Yeah. Maybe a little less or so with the cousins and things, but one of the standouts is Kevin's older brother, Buzz.
He's great.
Hilarious. He has one of my favorite things in this movie. It's a small moment, but one of the things I just love, and I don't think anyone's really going to think it's that funny, but Kevin comes up, he's looking for his pizza, and he wants plain cheese, and he's just,
I can relate to that.
Exactly.
I'm like that too. I want my plain cheese pizza.
As like a younger sibling, I'm like, that's kind of relatable. Is like, you want something that's just not anything crazy, but he can't find it, and apparently Buzz ate it. And he literally tells Kevin, I laugh so hard at this. He's like, well, if you want it, someone's going to have to barf it all up because it's gone. And he's all, Kevin, get a plate. I'm like, that's such a great like older brother moment. And I swear I quote that. I say that all the time, and no one knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Man.
I'll say that. I'm like, well, if you want it, someone's going to have to barf it all up because it's gone.
It's a great gross out moment, too. That's like one of my favorite uses of like gross out humor I've seen in a movie.
It's like funny because it's like, as an older sibling, obviously I'm the youngest, but seeing my older siblings, they're those moments where they rage bait you so hard.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm like the oldest when it comes to my siblings. I swear, my middle sister, she'll just tease me over the littlest things imaginable.
And it's just like those moments of like, as a sibling, it's like you want to push your sibling over the edge, you want to get him mad, and you'll say stuff like that to get him angry. And then Kevin's crash out is obviously, for me, just super validated. Like, it pushes him, but it ends up turning into this big mess and everything.
Yeah, which I was like, oh my God, the pizza.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But also, heck yeah, finally.
Yeah, exactly.
Good on you, Kevin, for standing up for yourself.
One of the things that they get into is they set up the scenario very well. They have a lot of things that kind of led to, okay, if this is going to happen, if a family's going to leave a kid behind, how do we make it convincing enough that, okay, in this situation, that seems reasonable? Obviously, they have a bunch of kids, a bunch of cousins and everything.
They're counting them. Heads.
Yeah. And then they count one of the neighbors who was there, like looking at things or whatever. Yeah.
That moment was hilarious. He's all asking about like the van and everything.
Yeah.
And the driver's all, he's all, move it, kid.
Yeah. He's all, I don't know. That's so funny.
He's all, what kind of transmission does it have?
Yeah. And one of the things that they set up very well is power goes out.
Yeah. It goes out like at night and everything.
So they oversleep. So that way when they wake up, they're in such a rush that there really is kind of no time to really jump ahead with this. And,
which is definitely a relatable feeling, waiting last minute to get to the airport.
And when Kevin pushes over his brother, it gets on one of the tickets and something, so they end up throwing it away, so
I know.
yeah,
oh my
there's
God.
like this perfect set of circumstances that for me, I'm like, yes, this is a movie. Yes.
But it's a perfect chain of reactions, though, and it doesn't feel like too convenient or anything, surprisingly.
Exactly. So they rush to the airport and everything, and in that chaos and everything, it's just almost like this moment of like, you get there, you're sitting down, and it's just like, do we have everything? I'm pretty sure we did everything, you know?
Oh, I didn't close the garage. That was it.
And it's like, I have those moments, and I've never been in that big of a rush, but it's just like those thoughts of like, you're going out of town. It's like, did I do everything?
Did you turn off the stove?
Yeah.
Did you turn off the lights?
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
it's a great setup, and obviously Kevin wakes up alone. He has no idea where everyone is. And
this is like one of my favorite editing moments is where Kevin is watching the movie and he calls out to his mom. It then cuts to them on the plane, and they're having that. The dad and the mom are having that interaction of like, "Oh, did we forget everything?" And the mom has this realization on her face, and she just screams Kevin, and it's like one of the perfect uses of editing I've seen in a film like this.
I love the authenticity of his mom. She really does feel like a mom, like this actress.
She's incredible. Yeah,
she's so great.
She's
and
great.
I'm just like, every time I see her in this movie, and obviously the second one is just like, wow, she just feels just so much like an actual mom, you know? And it's just something in the way she portrays and everything when she talks to Kevin. It's like, you know, loving your child, but also being at kind of a opposite end of them and being like, you know what? You know, you need to act better. You need to do this better.
Yeah, their back and forth is fantastic. And then surprisingly, really just like it still felt kind of relatable to me.
One of the things that I love the setup of is these criminals going to these houses and stuff.
Great. I love that Marv has this. It's like one of my favorite running gags in the movie. He has this whole thing where he's like, he has to leave like a mark. So he just like turns on the sink to like flood the house.
Yeah, that's so funny. And he like fills up the drain. And I just love the moment he gets in the car, he's like smiling and
he's all, what's so funny?
Harry's like, what's funny?
And it's so funny because I've watching Goodfellas, there's a moment where Joe Pesci is like, you think I'm funny? What's so funny? So I just felt like, I was like, oh. So when you mentioned like last episode, like he filmed this and Goodfellas at the same time, it's like, wow, he was not kidding.
Yeah. One of the things, obviously the big standout for me is Joe Pesci as Harry.
He's incredible.
Stern. They are just, for me, just, man, they are such a great duo. They're hilarious. People really do like the second movie, but man, it's I could keep watching these two interact, being these bandits and everything, getting into these situations, you know. They're just hilarious. Their deliveries are so funny. And then even then the slapstick stuff when it happens is just so hilarious with them.
Oh my God.
It's so funny watching Joe Pesci. Obviously this was my introduction to him. So
really?
Yeah, for me, Joe Pesci's always going to be Harry. Like, I don't know what it is in my head. Every time I see him, I'm like, that's the guy from Home Alone.
Okay. But that's a perfect introduction.
One of the things I didn't know now seeing Goodfellas, and obviously he's rated R, cussing and everything.
Of course, yeah.
It's so funny watching him in this movie and he can't cuss. He can't say bad words. Yet he's like mumbling and says all this stuff to himself and everything. It's so hilarious. It's such a genius idea. And seeing
and it makes the character even more funnier than he already is.
I know. It's just like that final element of just like, wow, this is just something that I could keep watching for hours as these two interact.
Yeah,
you know?
No, they're incredible. And it's just like, it makes the movie even better than it already is, you know? And I love that they're the main villains and they're not like anything crazy or anything. And I love that they're not like great at like robbing the places or anything. I love the moment when they're at the house and Marv is just making like all the noise. And Harry just sarcastically says, he's all, you're such a silent criminal. Can you be any louder?
And throughout this middle and third part, well, kind of before the climax of the movie, is just like these moments of Kevin outsmarting these guys, you know?
Yeah. And I love how far they take it too. Like I love the moment where Kevin, he has like all these like mannequins and everything.
So great.
And it's like, it's so cool how they do it. And then you see like inside the house and you see like the Michael Jordan cut out.
The train,
And you see just Kevin with like all the little streaks and everything just dancing.
And it's so funny. Like these guys are so set on hitting this house. He's there as a cop in the beginning, so he knows what's in there.
Yeah. And it's like the holy grail for them too.
he knows that this family's gone, and then they go back and see all these silhouettes in the house and everything. It's just like, it's so funny watching him outsmart them. And then obviously one of the great moments for me is Marv show up, and Kevin uses this audio from this movie to kind of make him think like, oh, what's happening right now, you know?
Yeah. Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Yeah. And he uses it twice in the movie with him and then this pizza guy, you know? It's so funny.
So from what I've heard, apparently that's not a real movie, actually. Yeah. I looked into it after I saw the movie.
Yeah.
They apparently, I guess, filmed it while they made the movie.
And it's so funny because it's so authentic.
Yeah.
And, it's called like Angels with Filthy Souls or something.
Yeah, I'm like, it seems like a movie my dad would show me or something.
And it's so funny. Like, in it just seems like this over the top kind of crime movie or whatever. And you have this old man in it who has like a Tommy gun and he laughs. And
I'm going to give you to the count of 10. 1, 2, 10.
And I really like, every time I see that, like that was for me, I was just like, anytime I heard the term like gangster movies, I thought of that. I was like,
cool.
Oh, so that's what that is, you know? And it's funny to see like, oh, earlier that same year, Joe Pesci was in one of those kind of movies, you know? I love that moment. I love Kevin outsmarting these guys throughout, you know, that middle portion and everything. I love just his interactions with the adults in general. Like there's parts where he goes to like the store and these people are like questioning, like, is this little kid here by himself, you know? And
he's all, it's for the kids.
I know, yeah, it's so funny. That's one of the things that, man, is so understated. Macaulay Culkin, his performance in this movie
He's fantastic, man. He really is such an underappreciated actor.
He really is. And you get to see a little cameo with his younger brother.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin. I know, I couldn't believe that either.
Won an Academy Award last year, so that was really cool.
I love the scene where he's like drinking the Pepsi and he's just making this like really goofy face.
Yeah, because they're like, you have to share a bed with Fuller, and he wets the bed. And he just smiles. Oh my God.
Oh my God,
yeah. There's so much great, you know, moments in that. And they really take advantage of the setup of obviously a kid being at home alone.
Yeah. And then kind of contrasted and juxtaposed with like the mother trying to get back to her kid.
Exactly.
You know, she does everything she can. Yeah. You know, she like gives like money to and like her watch and everything she can to this like old couple.
Yeah. And it's just trying to find like a travel time so close to Christmas is
especially
probably nearly impossible, you know. And that's a great part of the movie as well, is seeing the mom, you know, really just, she can't rest until she gets home, you know, knowing her son is there, knowing.
And that's how mothers usually are anyways, too. And I love the moment she has with her and John Candy, where she's like this polka musician.
Oh yeah. That's a little great part too, is like seeing these people, you know, willing to help her and everything. And, yeah, it's just really great. And it has...
his ramblings, too, are so funny. Like, just any time he was on the screen, I was just like, he just gets such a laugh out of me.
One of the things that I want to talk about is obviously this whole climax scene, interaction between Kevin and these robbers, the wet bandits. It sets it up so well. Like, it shows Kevin, you know, realizing what's going to happen. And he has to he takes it upon himself of like, I'm going to make sure this is okay. You know, I'm going to guard my house. I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. And he sets the house up with like these traps and stuff, which is insane. Obviously, this is a movie.
So wait, it's like Saw, right? Just kidding.
It's so funny. One of the things that I've heard, like people are like, they should reboot Halloween, but the house Michael Myers is trying to get into is Kevin McAllister's.
Well, they did that in the 2018 movie, actually. It kind of works.
Yeah. But he sets the house up with some traps and everything. And obviously it's a kid. So now as an adult, it's kind of crazy to see the things that he does. Like,
it's crazy that this is an 8-year-old. He's very smart for an 8-year-old doing all of this.
And it's so funny. Like, this is like, for me, one of my favorite slapstick, whole kind of scenes and everything is watching these two just constantly.
Yeah. I think for me, this has to be one of my favorite climaxes I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Like, this climax is just fantastic.
It's hilarious.
It's just like, And it's like, it's cool too, because like they've been setting it up throughout the whole movie with the robbers and everything, and with the different little traps, especially with like the basement. You know, he's not even scared of the basement anymore. You know, he gets over that fear. You know, and it's like, I love that everything just comes together in this like big fireworks of sorts, big explosion.
It's great. It's crazy, some of the traps where Harry goes up to the door, grabs the handle, and it's like heated and it burns onto his
There's
head.
like an M on there.
And it's so funny to watch because it's just like, wait, what's like this kid happened? Like, and he grabs the handle and he just like immediately starts screaming and jumps in the snow. And it's so funny. Or watching Marv go down the stairs and he like slips and falls all the way down to the entrance and everything. Or he gets in the house and then he's like, his feet get stuck on these things.
It's like some tar or something.
Yeah.
And he gets hit by like the iron. Yeah, he gets hit by the iron. And it's
crazy.
Insane.
And,
he would be dead if that was real, but yeah, it's great.
The way they chose to film it, which is props to the director, because
Chris Columbus.
Some of my skin crawls when this happens. Like he's going up the stairs, Marv, and he has no shoes on, no socks.
Oh my God.
He's the shot of him and his foot stepping onto this nail.
And he barely steps on it too.
Every time I see it, I'm like, oh man. And it's so funny because it's just one shot. It literally is a couple seconds. And the shot of it, just, man, every time I see it, I'm like, oh man, that would suck.
That
he
freaked
falls
me
back
out.
down the stairs and everything. It's so funny. Or he gets in through one of the windows and there's all these ornaments on the ground.
And he
He's
just
like
steps on him. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like stepping on Legos.
And it's so funny to watch the battle these guys go through to get into the house, you know? Like, that's so funny. Or Harry, his head lights on fire.
Yeah, and like all his hair is gone. He got burned literally.
And it's so funny, like seeing Joe Pesci, seeing the flames hitting his head, seeing him scream out loud. It's just like something that is just, love
It's like something
so
out of a cartoon. It's fantastic.
Hilarious. And I feel like now in movies, I don't really see slapstick done in this kind of way anymore. You know? This is something that it's like, you see one joke and then they follow it up with something else and it just keeps going. And you would expect it to be like, oh, you know, it's not that funny. But for some reason in this movie, the reactions that these actors give, and then the director, and just the
timing of it too. Also, it's hilarious. It's just great.
Yeah, it's so funny, and it doesn't get old. Like I said, it's just, and that's part of why I love the second one, because it's just the same thing, you know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, seeing this whole interaction is great. One of the standout moments for me, that for me is just a very genuine reaction, and seeing obviously behind the scenes and how they filmed this is. Kevin is in like running away from them and they're catching up to him and they grab him and he sees Buzz's tarantula like on the stairs.
I love that he's just like crawling throughout too, especially like when Kevin breaks like the whole shelf and everything in Buzz's room. Yeah. That was like another great running gag throughout. And the spider just keeps showing up out of nowhere. And I love that he just shows up at this moment with the Roberts.
Moment. And Kevin grabs it and it's this tarantula, so it's big. And he grabs it and he puts it on Marv's face. And Marv lets out like one of my favorite movie screams like I've ever heard. It feels so genuine. And his reaction is hilarious. And I'm like, if I was in that situation, I'm either screaming like that or I'm fainting because tarantulas are terrifying. But yeah, seeing that scene is so great.
And then I love that he hits like Harry too.
Oh, yes. That's an even better follow-up. As he screams, it flies off of him, goes on Harry, and Marv is like ready to hit it. And Harry's like, well, what are you doing? And he's like, don't move. It just hits him. But funny thing of how they filmed that is Marv, Daniel Stern, couldn't let out a scream like that because the spider would apparently like it would freak out and it would move away from the scene. Mm-hmm. So in that scene, he had to mimic the sound, but he didn't scream. So he was letting out no scream. And he was absolutely terrified of spiders. And he's like, you're going to only have one chance to film this, so you better get it right. So yeah, in that scene, he's not actually screaming. In post-production, they had to add that screaming.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's really awesome.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, wow.
Just this whole climax of them going throughout this house. One of the things I didn't mention that I like in this movie too is Kevin's interaction with this neighbor. He has like this neighbor or this
Very
guy that goes
eerie
around.
Introduction too.
Yeah. This guy that goes around, and Buzz and his brother kind of add to the mythos of this guy. You know, it's kind of one of those kid things of like, you know, they make up things and they say
Of course,
things.
yeah, absolutely.
And if you see like an odd character, you obviously assume the worst. It's like,
they're a strange person.
That's this guy, you know? And I love the interaction between Kevin and this guy. Obviously, he's scared of him at first, but then he has this interaction, and it's like this small conversational moment
at the church. Absolutely.
And it's really great.
One of my favorite moments in the film. And I think that really solidified, like, okay, this is definitely John Hughes of like, you just have this really great drama moment that doesn't, and that's the thing too, is like, it doesn't feel out of place or anything, you know, it kind of does feel like, you know, like a kid just giving you advice, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, it is really just as simple as calling someone.
Exactly. And I love that so much of seeing Kevin helping this person, and he has kind of this view of the world of just like, to him, things are simple, you know, as a kid, like,
and that's how kids are.
Yeah. It's not that complex. And, you know, us, when we get older, we tend to make things more complex and
complicated, of course.
And I love that moment so much. And especially now watching it when I'm older, I'm like, wow, that's actually a really good scene, and something that I don't think is completely necessary for the movie, but it adds that layer of, you know, drama of like, oh, okay, wow, Kevin has this great heart with him, you know, and he's willing to kind of formulate his own opinions on people and help them.
Especially during the Christmas season too. Like, that's such an important thing to do always.
Exactly.
And not only that, but I love the music in that scene too. You just hear this
John
beautiful
Williams.
Yeah. Oh my God. That John Williams score. I didn't know it was John Williams who scored it. Yeah. And it's just like, it's like a whole different other side of John Williams I never expected. It's just like that whimsical score that he does is just phenomenal in this movie. Every single piece of music in this film is just fantastic, and it adds so much to the humor, and it adds so much to like just the intensity of what you're watching, especially that airport sequence where they're all running to get to the airplane. It's just like, man, you feel the tension in that sequence. But but that church sequence though, you know, when they have that talk and you just hear that beautiful choral music, it's like, dang, it is so good.
It's so good. And I like that it sets up him helping Kevin later on when he's runs to the other house and everything. It's great, and it's a great climax, and it plays out super well. And obviously past that, it's like, okay, the funny stuff's over. But then you have this emotional side of this mom getting back home and everything.
Oh, that was so good.
On Christmas and everything. And it's great. It's just a great family moment. But then obviously the rest of the family shows up. It's like, man, I feel so bad for the mom right there. Like, that would suck. I'd be so mad.
She's all...
There was a time that something similar like that happened to me.
Oh, really?
One time I was with my sister, and she would... I would have to go with her to her swim practice after school and everything. And I wasn't on the swim team, so I would just sit and wait there for hours, and I hated it. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go. One day I lived so far away from the school. I was like, I'm walking home. And my sister's like, all right, whatever. So then she went to swim practice. I walked home. I got home, and I was like, all right, I'm home. And I was so excited, and I was like, sat down for a second and got a drink, and I was just sitting on the couch for maybe like 5 minutes. All of a sudden my sister comes back from practice, and I was like, that wasn't worth it. I was like, I really should have just waited.
And then not only that, I just think that ending is fantastic, because once they like reunite, it just feels like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. I felt so much relief, because throughout I just felt so much like it kind of anxiety. I felt so much kind of like, oh my God, is she going to make it on time?
Yeah.
Is Kevin going to be able to like is he going to be able to like defeat these robbers, you know?
Yep.
And then once like they both just interact, and I'm like, dude, look behind Kevin, look behind. I literally just had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, that That's great.
Exactly.
You know? And then not only that, I love like when he looks at the window and he sees the neighbor and you see that he's just interacting with his son once again. It was like, that was such a heartwarming moment.
Yeah, that was great. That was a really good
and then
final part.
Yeah. And then hearing Buzz be like, what happened to my room? I was like, if I don't hear Buzz say that, I'm going to be very shocked.
That's true. That's such a great ending part too. But yeah, this movie's fantastic for me. This is like, again, one of my favorite Christmas movies. It never gets old. The amount of times I've seen it, no matter what it is, when it's Christmas time, this is usually one of the first movies that I kind of go to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Cool, and it's just great premise. Great acting, great slapstick humor, great drama too. It has a great drama angle.
Yeah, and the movie, and it's so crazy because like the movie didn't need that, but it works wonders, and it makes the movie even better than it already is.
It really does. So overall, man, this is just for me one of the perfect holiday movies. I honestly, score wise, I really don't have any issues with this movie. I don't really see how it could be improved in any way. It knows what it is. It knows what it's trying to do, and it does it very, very well. I feel like movies like this kind of don't really exist anymore, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, which makes me really sad.
But yeah, this movie's great. Obviously, if it took place in today's day and age,
this movie
probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah, the movie would be over in like 10 seconds.
But I think overall, for me, this is just a perfect holiday movie. So I'm at a 10, honestly.
Nice. Heck yeah. Man, I can't believe it's taken me so long to see this. Like a lot of some of the recommendations, it's like I'm kind of kicking myself in the foot for not seeing this sooner. I really should have sat down to watch this sooner, but man, I had such an incredible time with this. This is just super hilarious, great drama moments, great. Some of like my favorite slapstick humor I've seen in a movie, so honestly. The Christmas aspect is just phenomenal in this film. Everything with Kevin is incredible. I love that little scream and run that he does with his hands. Oh, yeah. It's so funny when he does it. The score is just incredible. And man, it just keeps you, and that's the crazy thing, is like, it just keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like, yeah, like you, I don't really have any complaints with this. I don't know anything that could really improve or expand upon, because everything about this is just lightning in a bottle for me. And it just, and it just works like 1,000% for me. And not only that, the robbers are just hilarious.
Oh,
and
they're so funny.
And man, they just make the movie even more hilarious than it already is. And man, this has to be, I'll just say, this has to be one of my favorite Joe Pesci performances I've seen, honestly. He is so hilarious in this film. And I love the back and forth banter that both Harry and Marv have. Yeah. Score for me, it's an easy 10. This is easily like one of my favorite Christmas films I've seen in a long, long while.
Yeah, it's so good. If you haven't seen it, I'd be honestly surprised, but you would have such a great time watching this movie. If you love humor, if you like, just simple premises, definitely just check this out. Put it on and hopefully you get something out of it.
I'll have to check out more John Hughes films too, also, especially now after seeing this. Like, I know he didn't direct it or anything, but still,
his handprint is definitely there.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, like you just feel it so much with, kind of just, again, the blending of humor, drama, having those family elements and everything, and making it convincing, that's just such a John Hughes staple that I'm like,
it's just like, he just knows how to write characters so well. They don't even feel like characters. They just feel like you're watching just people, honestly, interact.
Yeah. So one of the things that, after watching it, is just like, movies like this don't tend to exist, and if they do, they're probably put on streaming and I just don't end up seeing them. Yeah,
or they're just kind of okay most of the time.
Yeah, but there's just an authenticity here to how this movie was made that I just really enjoy. And again, it knows what it wants to be, and it just goes for it.
Yeah, and it's like a great time capsule too of sorts,
Really is. I like the sequel to this movie. Maybe one day we'll talk about it in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how are the sequels? Are they kind of?
The second one for me is really great. I think it's just one of those sequels of kind of just being like, we'll give you more of the same. What you liked about the first one, we're gonna do it again. And some people might be like, well, that's kind of lazy and stuff. But for me, that's what's enjoyable about these characters and about everything is just seeing the sequel, you know.
I've seen clips and it seems pretty cool. And I also Tim Curry's there, and I love Tim Curry so much. I love him
so much in the sequel. He's so funny.
Yeah, so I'll have to give that one a watch for sure, especially after seeing this.
Definitely really like that one. I saw the third one when I was really young, didn't really care for it, and I guess they've made like 2 more or something that I've never seen.
Okay.
I think one was like a modern one too, that came out a couple of years ago. I haven't seen it. Yeah, I don't think I would really care to, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out and let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, man, great delight for sure. I
awesome.
really loved this and connected with this a lot.
All right, what do you got for us next time?
Okay, so for me, I was going back and forth with a few different Christmas recommendations because, like you, I have a bunch I'd love to talk about, but watching this film really reminded me of a Christmas film that I remember growing up with and was a big staple for me as a kid. And it's kind of insane because it's in that like era of when they were doing the live action Dr. Seuss adaptations type of things.
No way.
So yeah, I was thinking we could do How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I literally watched this last night.
Oh,
that
really?
Is insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because while watching it, it's like, this is actually a movie I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, I was thinking about it a while back because we were talking about Jim Carrey a couple of episodes ago, and I was like, oh yeah, this is one that I remember having like, I just watched so much of as a kid. I saw this film every Christmas. I still kind of watch it every once in a while with my family and everything. It's just like our big comfort film that we watch together. Yeah. And yeah, this film is just quite a fever dream, honestly. There's aspects of this I do actually really like and enjoy, but there's also aspects I don't think are like the best, but I do think it's honestly kind of worth discussing, honestly.
Definitely watching it recently, I had this moment of like, this is filmed in such a strange way, you know? It just has like a weird third world quality to it of like, wait, what like this was like filmmaking at such a strange time, you know?
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it a lot. But just seeing like some of the sets, costumes and everything, I'm just like, wow, this is like so strange.
Yeah, and then not only that, like Anthony Hopkins narrating it.
I know. I was gonna say that he has more lines in this movie than he has in Mission Impossible 2.
Oh yeah,
and he literally was throughout the whole trailers.
And then of course, I mean, Jim Carrey as the Grinch, like amazing. That. I remember like seeing that as a kid. Like I didn't know that was Jim Carrey for like the longest time. I was like, where's Jim Carrey? I don't see him in this. And that was another thing I guess I can also touch on during the discussion is like Jim Carrey was like one of my biggest like influences as a kid growing up. Like I just was obsessed with his films. And so, yeah, I thought let's talk about this film. And especially too, I guess it's like the 25th anniversary this year of this movie also.
I want to touch on that in the review is just Jim Carrey can really carry a movie on his shoulders sometimes. And it's insane to know that he does it just through humor, just through the way his inflections are. He can really just make a okay movie that much more enjoyable.
Of course. I mean, yeah, absolutely. So yeah. And it's crazy too. It's from Ron Howard of all people. That is
crazy.
Yeah.
That is very crazy.
Ron Howard is quite the filmmaker. And I could also touch on that during the discussion too. So I'm thinking this one we do next episode.
All right. Well, that is it for us. So thank you guys for joining. Look forward to more reviews in the future.
Yeah, good day and good night, mates, and have a happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you on the next one.